Let me ask you a question. Why do you think sports car EVs are not taking off? I have an idea of why that is the case. Because sports cars, to me, when you step into a sports car, let's say you've had a very rough day and you feel like you have all this tension built inside of your mind and your body, and you feel like you just want to scream out into space. And the thing is, instead of doing that, you can take out your sports car, specifically if you have a V8 or a Ferrari V12, and you can go out the mountains or go to your favorite back road, and you can let the V8 do the screaming for you. You and the car, you're in this situation, you're in this experience together. You and the car create this connection that is very, very hard to have with an internal combustion, with an electric car, because you don't get the same feel, obviously, when you're driving an EV. It's completely quiet. You do have the speed, but you don't have that sense that the car itself is in tune with your own emotions, if that makes sense. So Ferrari here now, they're saying that they want to change this completely. So they're building this new EV, and they say that this is going to be completely different from what we've seen from EVs so far, specifically when it comes to the noise. And I honestly cannot wait to see what this vehicle is going to sound like, because I think the sound, first of all, you have a Ferrari, then you have an electric vehicle. Both of these, they feel like they're not going to mix well. And it's going to be very interesting to see what Ferrari has in store for this when it's revealed, I do believe, next year. I'm going to show you what this new EV might look like, because they say it's going to be a Ford. I think it's going to be a four-door, similar style to what we have in the Purosangue. But I feel like when you look at the spy photos, it feels more like a GTC4 Lusso when he looks at the proportions. And we're going to see what that might look like if we mix those two together. But before we jump into Photoshop here, let's have a look at what Ferrari is saying and how they're going to make this a reality, to make an electric vehicle actually have some sort of connection to your own emotions when you're driving it. Because that is, to me, the essence of what a sports car is, specifically when you have a V8 or a V12. So this article from Car Scoops, I'm going to link this down below. Ferrari found a way to make fake EV noise sound honest. The first zero-emission offering from Maranello will be fully unveiled in spring of 2026. The EV will use 4 electric motors across 2 axles with a power of 986 horsepower. It will feature a 122 kilowatt-hour battery pack, 48-volt active suspension that we do have in the Purosangue right now, and also the F80 supercar, and what they call amplified sound. And this is where it gets very, very interesting. You got advanced chassis technology as well, a distinctive electric sound, and a large high-density battery capable of more than 530 kilometers of range, or 329 miles of range. The miles sounds great, but I really do not care one bit about these numbers when it comes to a Ferrari EV. They need to make this right. Otherwise, it's going to be a taint in the history line of Ferrari cars if they cannot make this feel like a Ferrari. That is a massive, massive challenge. According to Maranello, all of the main components of the EV has been developed and manufactured in-house, ensuring it delivers peerless levels of performance. Now, I've heard this before from EV manufacturers. Before a car comes out, specifically when it's a high-end car, the manufacturers try to build it up like this is something different from other EVs, but so far I honestly have not felt that difference that I'm looking for. Here we have some images of the battery itself. It's a massive battery, and this is going to be the heaviest Ferrari ever made, thanks to these batteries and the motors that we have. They call it the Elettrica right now, and you got a front e-axle taken from the F80 hypercar. This front axle produces 282 horsepower, while the rear motors add another 831 horsepower. Total output in boost mode goes up to 986 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. Top speed 310 kilometers an hour, 193 miles per hour. Hopefully they have some sort of overdrive gear because otherwise you're going to drain the battery extremely fast. If you take this on the Autobahn from Munich to Berlin, for example, it's going to be a problem with charging times for sure. 3 modes, drive modes for the driver to choose from. You have range, torque, and performance based on conditions. And then you have a sensor mounted on the inverter detects the powertrain's real mechanical vibrations. And this could honestly be finally something different. And the thing about EVs, it's not just about the sound though. The power delivery, when you have electric horsepowers, they all have this same power delivery. It doesn't matter what brand the battery and the motors are coming from, they always feel exactly the same. And that is another challenge that Ferrari has to overcome here to make it, of course, feel like a Ferrari. So you have powertrain's real mechanical vibrations, which are then amplified to create what the company describes as a natural evolving tone. You got a 20-person engineering team has been working on this sound approach the car's electric frequencies like musical notes, shaping them through amplifiers rather than speakers. And their goal wasn't to imitate the sound of a traditional Ferrari engine, but to create something authentic and entirely new. Again, I really cannot wait to hear what this sounds like. And I'm not sure if I'm ever going to be able to drive this vehicle, but I'm looking forward to people driving this. And I want them to be honest. Does it really feel like anything else? Separated from any other EV. Here you can see the proportions. This resembles the GT4C Lusso way more than the Purosangue to me when you look at these proportions. Of course, it's not going to have any of these boxiness. Obviously, this is just for the camo. So an accelerometer captures the motor's natural resonance, which is then amplified inside the cabin to create reactive soundtrack, meaning that if you push the car harder, it builds up a natural crescendo, ease off the gas pedal, and it slips into near silence. Now, how convincing this synthesized feedback will feel in practice remains to be seen, as much of Ferrari's allure has traditionally rested on the emotional impact of its combustion engines. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be this can either go two ways. It's going to be a massive hit, which I currently, from what I've experienced from EVs so far, seems highly unlikely, or it's going to be a complete flop, which also could happen. But if they make this right, they could find this niche audience that is going to love this of the current inside of the current Ferrari customer base. The battery is integrated into the floor pan. The system also features an advanced cooling system and supports ultra-fast DC charging up to 350 kilowatts. Now, test cars suggest a 4-door, 4-seat Grand Tourer layout similar to the V12-powered Purosangue. Buyers can also choose from 5 tire options developed by 3 different suppliers, and the weight for this is going to be over 5,000 pounds. Meaning that it will be the heaviest Ferrari ever built. Scheduled for spring 2026 with an early preview of the interior expected next year. Here you can see, I do believe this is the motors. Not sure if it's the rear motor or the front motor, but very advanced stuff here to be able to make this feel special. Ferrari at the same time says that the Ferrari is going electric, but refuses to let the V12 die. So they say here that the future models, by 2030, 40% of the Italian brand's lineup will be hybrid and 20% of the lineup will be fully electric. So it's going to be a very interesting future for Ferrari for sure. Learn design sketching online with me. My online class is now only $47. If you have any desire to pick up the skill of sketching products using simple tools such as just a big pen and some cheap print paper, this is something you want to check out. Now, over the years, I've taught over thousands of students from all around the world how to sketch cars and products using my simple sketching techniques, and most of them have seen amazing results from my classes. Analog Designer Pro Pack is the full bundle of all my classes I've released over the years, and it's yours for just $47. You also have a lifetime access to all the videos. Check out everything that's included and see what my students have to say in the link in the description, or simply visit analogdesignerpropack.com. I want to jump into Photoshop here because I want to show you the designs of the GTC4 Lusso up top, the Puro Sangue, and what would happen if we mix these two designs together into a new fully electric vehicle. What I loved about the GTC4 Lusso is that this is such a cool design and beautiful, absolutely stunning line flow all around this vehicle. We have this very thin waistline here as well with this massive cut in the lower section of the vehicle, definitely carving out this entire volume here. And this is like a Ferrari wagon to me. I just wish they put a passenger doors back there as well, making it into a proper wagon. Would be very, very cool to see from Ferrari. I've always been a fan of this era of design of Ferrari, the 458, the 488 a little bit as well, and this one, of course, looking very clean, and we have some clean flow in the design. Now look at the Puro Sangue. This is the latest design DNA from Ferrari. This and the 12 Cilindri as well, and also the new Testarossa, where it gets a little bit more static. This came right before that change happened. And I also like this design. This is a beautiful looking beast of an SUV. But still, even though the new cars, the Testarossa, the F80 has more of this squared off design, this still retains this GTC4 Lusso vibe with a lot of fluidity all around the vehicle, making it still feel very, very organic. And I love to see that. Now, if we mix these two together, we might get something like this down here. This is sort of what I want to see, what I want to see from Ferrari. If they're going to create a full EV like this, I want the design to be subtle. I don't want to have this boxiness that we've seen in the latest models from Ferrari. I do think it would suit this design better to have a more classic design. And because the car itself is Ferrari's first full EV, I do think it's a good idea to keep it very traditional when it comes to the exterior design and not make it too out there, too unusual for what we have Ferraris from the past, because that's just going to add even more confusion to what this design actually is. If Ferrari drops something like this, I think that would be great, with very soft curvatures, very nice and subtle graphic features, and simple layout for the key graphics in the front end as well, in addition to this organic vibe that we have right here. I think this would be the route to go for Ferrari, but it remains to be seen. At least they're saying that they're still going to keep the V8 and the V12s alive, which is great news in today's day and age. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to this, and I cannot wait to see what Ferrari has done that they claim is so different from other performance EVs we've seen in the past.